Hi everyone, welcome back to the Gen Y Investor. Thanks again for tuning in, and I appreciate it. If you've noticed my haircut today, it's a freshie, so I'm feeling good. Today we're just going to talk about a new stock that I've added to my portfolio, and that is BRN, BrainChip Technologies. A little bit of a speculative one. It's certainly not anywhere near profitable as of yet. It's in the AI space, artificial intelligence. So there's a few things I just want to talk about. I've made a little slideshow that we can have a look at, and we'll go through why I've added it. I haven't gone too hard on it, so yeah, don't think I've bought in thousands and thousands of dollars worth into it. But yeah, I think it's got plenty of upside. So let's just have a look at why we might like this stock. Okay, so this is sort of the main project that BRN are working on, their Akida neural processor. I will mention that they are sort of looking at something else in the smelling processing chip space or something. There hasn't actually been an announcement on that, and apparently that's because they don't think it's major enough to touch on. So yeah, most of the hype is surrounding this Akida neural processor. So just sort of to simplify it all as much as I can, it's a processor that interprets and transforms information that it detects and then learns what to do from there. Whereas like most AIs like Siri or your Alexa from Amazon, they'll need to sort of transfer this information to through the internet and sort of interpret it from there. So it does have quite a good little point of difference there. Apparently much faster, really low energy costs, which people are quite interested in. Yeah, so I think this neural processor chip is quite interesting. So as this is around about last year in December, NASA actually placed an order for the Akida chip in the early access program. That doesn't mean a lot just yet. It just means that NASA are testing it, but it certainly the price soared as a result of this information. And then also on the same day, we had them sign an intellectual property license agreement. So again, this really created some hype around the stock, and we've seen it surge quite a bit. It's went up from about 30 cents up to 60 or 70 cents over these past few months. So a lot of hype around that. I don't think it's anything too major just yet. The NASA needs to report some positive results from it or start using it after early access and things like that before we get too interested in it. But the market certainly liked it as well. And then something happened recently. This was only a few days ago, 15th of March. So it's now the 22nd. So yeah, last week, the CEO. I actually watched an interview of the CEO, and he was a pretty impressive dude. He talked pretty positively about the company. This was a few months ago. Talked quite positively about Tesla might end up using it one day and this sort of stuff. He was very optimistic, and they've sacked him, which that sort of interested me. I thought we might see a bit of a downtrend because it's been in quite an uptrend since that news. Sort of stagnated a bit over the past month, but then yeah. So I was expecting this would sort of affect it a bit. People might buy out because who knows why a CEO might leave. I've sort of looked up some news and some info for it, and there's not a lot on it. But interesting nonetheless that a CEO decides to leave. So yeah, but actually the market responded really strongly, and it dropped a bit. It dropped about 5%, but then it's just sort of rocketed since then. So that sort of says to me that people in general are pretty optimistic about this stock, and even something like a CEO leaving isn't going to deter them too much. So yeah, again, one of the big reasons I've bought in. We've seen a CEO leave, and then the price has still continued to surge quite strongly. Another big reason is that Reddit has just exploded with not just memes. I'll just put a couple of memes here. But yeah, Reddit, especially in the ASX bets group, which is just a mimic of the Wall Street bets group in America, they're talking about BRN non-stop. There's a lot of posts going on it. It entered the ASX 300 as well, which is quite impressive. The biggest three biggest 300 companies in the Australian Stock Exchange, which was quite good. And then, yeah, obviously just another meme. It's come back because it was on a bit of a downtrend for a little bit there, but there's heaps of stuff, heaps of people talking about it, a lot of interest in Reddit. And as I've said before, this shouldn't really mean too much, but unfortunately it does. All you need to do is look at like GME or AMC, GameStop and AMC stocks. Wall Street Bets sort of pumped them up a bit and they just absolutely rocketed. Cannabis stocks the same. So it sort of is a factor that you need to take into consideration these days, as silly as that might sound. And yeah, there's a lot of talk about it on Reddit. So there's some good reasons why I think it's looking pretty good. I know that it's quite a speculative stock and they're not profitable or anything like that, but yeah, let's just have a look at the charts. I'm not going to talk about the financials because, like I said, I don't think anyone's going to be too impressed with any of their statements. They're massively unprofitable at the moment. We're looking at this more of a growth stock as opposed to a value stock. So this is just the charts for the past few months. Where are we? So here, I hope you can see my cursor. Started December. That's when we had those two nice announcements for NASA and their intellectual property license agreement. So that surged there. Bit of a downtrend. And then this wasn't the CEO. Oh, this was, sorry. Around here was when the CEO left. A little bit of a downtrend, and then rocketed since then, and that was in reference to that meme before, bitch I'm back. Yeah, so looking pretty positive. I've only just bought in, so I'm probably around about here, and it's really broken through its sort of area of resistance, which I thought was around here, about 60 to 65 cents. So it's up around 70 cents now, so that's quite positive as well. And just the day-to-day one, we can just see here, because that last graph, we couldn't really see what happened with the CEO. That was a 5% drop when the CEO left, and now it's just sort of continued on its uptrend the past week or so. So, yeah, interesting times with this company. Still only a 69 cent stock, and I wouldn't advise anyone. Well, I don't advise anyone to buy into it anyway. But if you are going to, I don't think I'd be chucking my house on it or anything like that. That's for sure. But we might be able to see some nice growth from it in the future, hopefully. I think it's poised pretty nicely to be. It's obviously poised pretty nicely to be resilient because they've just lost their CEO and it's continued to grow. So, yeah, looking good, I think. Hopefully we can see it get up to $1 and even higher in the near future. But as always, do your own research, guys. And if you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. Legends. Thank you.